and welcome to the latest edition of the 941 Sports Zone. I'm Spitz. He's John, still liking the World Cup Missoni.
Yep.
And his lock of the week last week was the U.S. beating Bosnia-Herzegovina, and they did, not without some controversy. So we'll talk a little bit about that, I'm sure. And our very special guest today is the publisher of the Florida Sports Scene magazine, Matt Geller. Matt, as now a four-time guest of our show, we appreciate it.
It is my pleasure. I watch this. I don't know if John tells you, but every time when I get on there, I watch every one of them from start. When I'm driving, I listen to everything. And I'm like, man, I want to, I got something to say right now. It's very hard not having it, So, but thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And of course, Matt's going to be part of our coverage of the high school football preview, which is going to be at Carroll GMC coming up 2 weeks from Friday, the 24th of July. John, that date is just flying towards us.
You better believe it. And every time I look around, I'm like, okay, I got two more people jumped on. So we're close to finalizing a good roster of teams. And we're just gonna hopefully the day turns out as good as it's turned out the first 3 years. It's been a lot of fun, and seems to be it's not so much a buzz because it's new or whatever. It has a little bit of a buzz because a lot of these coaches are seeing the benefits to their program and whatnot to get out there early in the year and publicize their team and talk about their players, and I think it helps not just them from I'd say the recruiting perspective or just general knowledge of the team, but I think it also lends itself to the coaches getting their programs to have a little bit of exposure too, because I think that's the way of the world these days. You know what I mean? If you're doing some media stuff and you've got jumbotrons and you've got 19 different uniform combinations, all those different things that you don't think much of, this lends itself to being one of those things as well as all the other stuff does.
And it looks like I'm frozen, but I'm going to just stay there. Matt, I saw you raising your finger there. You had something to say.
No, I didn't have. I was agreeing with John because this is very. I'm in foreign territory because when I was in high school, it was not like this at all. But this is the world we live in now. And I love it. I love to be able, the fact that you guys do this at Carroll Buick is fantastic. All those teams and those coaches and the kids, they eat this stuff up, and it's, I feel like it's, kind of a payment for all of the work that they put in. They're out there in the middle of the summer busting their butts, all of them, everyone. And it's not just them, it's the girls, it's everybody. So I love the fact that they get a platform, if you will, for them, and I think that is helping to build the brand here in Florida for sure.
And it is summertime too. That's one thing I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's all summer that they're in there in obscurity, lifting weights and conditioning and everything else. And only person who knows what's going on are the coaches, and maybe their parents know a little bit, or are super fans that like to go out to practices and watch them do certain things. But it's really not. There's really a lot to it. So in their growth as young athletes, school students, and everything else, is that there's an opportunity for the season start to showcase those kids and talk about the standouts and how everything is progressing. So it's really kind of an igniter for what turns out to always be a very exciting football season in the state of Florida.
And I wanted to say this. I make my rounds through the schools in the summer, while they're out there working. And I just happened to be at a school the other day, and I was like, man, it's hot out here. Not even thinking that they got helmet and pads and shirt and all, and I'm here with, sweating on that's what I'm talking about with them though. They're out there, they're killing it. They're working hard. And I think that at the very least, they, deserve that platform for you to, highlight all their hard work. So
usually the date that we pick is in and around the last week of their workouts. So they're getting to the end of it, and there is the 1 week wait before they have to go out and start practicing football, and to get out there and be able to do this media kind of thing before all that starts really takes some of the pressure off of the coaches and the kids, to be to be looking for yourself or somebody else to come on campus and spending time with them. They've already kind of done that a little bit. It kind of helps everybody in that perspective. Media and coaching and teams get helped out. So I think we it's a public service on our part to do this, but it's also entertaining as well, because the other thing I say is you don't get to see the true personalities of these head coaches and their relationship with the kids on the field, because on the field it's game day. So
Yes.
everybody's got the game face on. They've got their assignments ready to go. You don't get to see that a coach might have a good sense of humor, or a young man might be articulate beyond his age, and you never know that kind of stuff. And you get to see it. I think it piques your interest too, because hey, I saw that's number 4, and that kid was on that media day thing, and he said, look, he spoke well, and look how well he's playing. There's a background to it, and I really enjoy the fact that has been something that's come out of this for not only the programs, but for as a whole, but for the individual coaches and kids.
For sure.
The 941 Sports Zone, presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. They've been great. They've been with us since the beginning. Locally owned, nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses throughout the Gulf Coast. Give them a call, 941-251-4257. That number again, 941-251-4257. Before we get in the meat and potatoes of the podcast, Matt, I did want to kind of give you a little bit of the floor here, again, as the publisher of the Florida Sports Scene magazine, which is available in print as well as online. I want you to tell people where they can get it and how you plan to attack this high school football season.
Well, first I want to tell you, Spitz, since last time we do not print anymore. Everything is online. Everything is online. So you can go to floridasportscene.com for our website, or for our videos, you go, any of our socials of the Florida Sports Scene, and you can go to our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything. We do that there. But the what we do is, for instance, just what John just said. When you have, in this area, you have a lot of people who have known each other for a very long time, and their whole goal is to beat each other. Every year it's like the driving force to get in there and beat each other. But people forget, like when John said, it's Friday night, it's game face, it's business time. But Monday through Thursday, it's work, but it's also fun, and you get the chance to see Coach Peacock laugh when you don't see him laugh on Friday night. Like, ooh, that's a mean guy. He's not a mean guy. He's a funny guy, And Amp Campbell and Sasha Hire and Coach Christiani, you get to see their personalities up close, and that's really. I last year I took a little bit of a serious, talk with the coaches, talk with the players after the game, and I'm gonna do the same this year. But I'm also adding, I want them to see their personality. I want to see how fun these guys are. They entertain me just as much as during the week as they do on Friday nights, and it's really important that. I'm going to tell you what, there's a lady that is a sponsor of mine, and she was like, ooh, I don't really like John Peacock. He's a mean guy. That's what she said. And then she saw him outside of the Friday night thing and seen him on these different things. And she was like, I've came all the way around on Coach Peacock. He's a fun guy. So that's my goal right there, is to get them to see the hard work and to see the human, not the football or not the basketball or volleyball side, just the human side of the people, and get to know them like I've got to know them. And I'm certain that people would, they come up to me all the time. I love your videos. I love this. I love that. And it's because of the players and the coaches in this area. So I'm very thankful for that.
And this is where John and I will take a moment to pat ourselves on the back. I started it, and John has definitely opened up Coach Peacock an awful lot in the last it's been almost a decade. It's hard to believe. We started this way back when over at the old Pop Sunset Grill.
Rich, it's actually 20 years.
Wow. Well, I know he's been coaching for 20 years, but how long have we been doing this?
It was year one, because he went, the first job that I had was to get on the radio, to get a radio thing going. So it was 07 that it started, and it's been, it's been a journey, for 20 years to get to where, it's everybody has, there's different benchmarks or whatever you do. But I think the utilization of media, and I'll use Coach Peacock as an example, is really what kind of generates a buzz around your program. A lot of times, and also, again, it does humanize the person that is the coach of your son, or the teacher of your son, or whatever it may be. And then you also get to see how it humanizes the idea of the entire coaching staff, because there's a lot of times that there's the forgotten assistant coaches and the guys that are working hard, and they get to be pointed out and made to be showcased in some way as well. So all of it started about 20 years ago, and I don't think there's many teams now that don't utilize media or at least embrace it in some way. Maybe they don't go out and do live streaming, or they do podcasting or coaches shows or whatnot, but they embrace the media because they know that there's so much that's good that comes from it. Because you and I, Matt and Rich, this as well. We hear a lot of things about different programs day in, day out, what's going on here, what may not be going on there. But with the media, they have the opportunity, if they want to, is they can tell their story. They can tell what they're doing and how they're doing certain things. And I think that also helps them as well, because, if your story is being told by somebody else, it's really not your story in a lot of ways. If you have the chance to tell it yourself and be that person that can go out and do that, then you sort of are, you're bridging that gap from the fan base, other college coaches and college recruiters and all that stuff. They see these things and they realize that they can see what kind of person or people are working with these kids.
John, when you were talking about that, I was just thinking about this, and this is in this business. There's people who have an agenda. Sometimes they have an agenda and they want a certain story put out a certain kind of way. That's what I think is extremely important about independent media like this. It is you let them tell the story. That's what I do. I let them tell the story, and
right.
This is important. And with, like I said earlier, the budget constraints, and Channel 12 and Channel 7 can't get down here and cover Venice versus Northport. They can't do it. But I can get out there and cover it for the people, and they love it. The kids love it, and the coaches they like it too. So I don't know if they love it, but they definitely like it. So it's hard, It's there's Amp Campbell, John, Coach Peacock, Sasha Heyer. They're all my age, and they are older school guys, like that, and they're it's you got to take them kicking and pulling to get them on some social media or But once they do, they loosen up and they have fun. I love it. I love it, and I love them. This is a fantastic area for sure.
And I'll say this too, Matt, in some ways, generationally, like you said, old school guys who don't really, they're begrudgingly doing media in a lot of cases, but they're a lot of times now looking around and saying, we have to be media savvy because our kids are.
Correct.
The kids are driving that, because the expectation now is, oh, where is my highlight show? Where is my hype video? Where is all these different things? They're used to doing that. And if you can't do it, they can do it themselves.
Yes.
They know how to do this stuff. So if you're not, you're not at least knowledgeable enough to do that and putting yourself out there a little bit, times will pass you by. It's like, it's no different than saying, I'm going to run the veer offense, in 2027 when everybody's running spread and going 4 wide, and it's a whole different ball game. And so they really have, the kids really have driven a lot of this because of their knowledge of social media and everything else, and the expectation that they are going to be highlighted in some way. So, and by the way, that's a double-edged sword. A lot of kids want to be on social media and they want to do that stuff, but they got to be good players and they got to be good individuals for that to or can backlash on them. So putting yourself out there isn't the easiest thing in the world, because you have an expectation to live up to at that point.
For sure.
Brendan Sorsby comes to mind, but we'll move. We'll move from that. By the way, is there a guy that's more tone deaf than him? Did you hear his quote from last week after it finally was figured out that he's not going to play for anybody? He goes, they've been telling me all my life to bet on myself, and I finally did, and this is how things have turned out. You would really talk about betting on yourself when you're deeply embroiled in a gambling controversy.
Right.
That is the definition of tone deaf, guys. Definition.
You know what it is sometimes, Rich? You wonder, this kid is potentially just a number one draft pick, right? They've said he could be a first round, second rounder, and a lot was going to be dependent on how well he did at Texas Tech. But his journey there was a funky one. A lot of times you see guys that have a lot of talent and they landed in Indiana, didn't work for him, goes to Cincinnati, gets a little bit better there, looks for the next thing. You don't know if this kid's been tone deaf for, as long as he's been a hyped up quarterback. You know what I mean? And you realize that sometimes it's like, that's for all the good you see with some of these kids and all the notoriety they get. Sometimes this is what can be a byproduct of this, where they think that, hey, what am I doing wrong? I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. No, you think you are, but you're not, because you're not looking around and listening. You're not looking at the guys who are doing it the right way. And by the way, we're talking about him with this comment. The fact of the matter is that he bet on his own teams. That's a career killer right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the fact that he would use that terminology just
just
blows me away. I mean, whoever's advising him needs to be replaced. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
they really do. All right. Let's move along in the actual podcast as far as, that is part of the podcast, but let's talk about some of the things that are coming up today. We're going to revisit this, by the way, towards the end of the program. Again, give you all of the particulars and details of where the Suncoast High School football preview is going to be and how you can watch it live or podcast it. So we'll definitely keep you up to date. And again, we've got a couple of more weeks before we actually put this thing in motion on July 24th. Speaking of controversy, guys, the World Cup is embroiled in controversy at the moment, and it involves Team USA, and it involves a very controversial red card that was issued during the US's match with Bosnia-Herzegovina. Their best player, Flo Belosian, I always say his name wrong, Flo Belosian, was given a red card after not even given a yellow card. Basically, for some reason, they went to VAR, and VAR slowed things down, which they're not supposed to do. That's the thing I think that really needs to be said here. The process was not followed, and I think that's one of the reasons why he is, at least as of this recording, around 2:30 on Monday, going to play Monday night in Seattle, because I think the folks at FIFA, whether they got a bag or not, realized that they didn't follow their own protocols, and he should have never been red carded. I think you have to have there wasn't even a foul on the field, guys, and I think that's the thing that keeps getting lost in all this. I'm listening to stuff all day today, and nobody's bringing that up.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely have to defer to you guys on this right here, because you just taught me a lot, what you just said right there, because I'm a reactionary when it comes to this type of stuff, and I'm like, I saw the coach say that they're not going to play him tonight, and then maybe they changed it since then, but then when you find out there is no foul on the play, there's and then skipped yellow and went right to red, there's a lot of stuff. So John, please help me out.
Yeah. I'll tell you the truth. When I saw it, the thing that came out right away was that similarly, game or two earlier with Argentina, Messi had done the same thing to someone else, and it wasn't called on anything. Everything was just fine. The slowing down of the VAR, the video review, really is sort of the smoking gun in this situation, as far as I'm concerned, because when you slow it down, you see it makes it. You see where his foot hits the back of his spikes at the back of his leg or foot, whatever it was, but it would never have been a foul to that magnitude if they hadn't done that. And so that happens. That's the smoking gun. The guy who made the mistake is the referee. Okay, he made a call on the field that was game changing in that game, because they had to play with 10 guys after that. So that was a big deal for that game in particular. If they would have lost that game and then had all this happen, this would have been a scandal, gigantic scandal, especially because the U.S. team is playing so well. So the reversal, while it is not in Belgium's favor, it is the proper thing to do in this particular situation, because you really are taking away. It's hard to quantify where he fits into the team. I would say he's maybe the quarterback, if not if unless you want to call the goalie the quarterback of the team, and he's the guy up front. He's the guy who's going to score most of the goals, and it needed to be corrected. And if I'm Belgium, what your response should be is it doesn't matter who they put on the field. We're better. That's all. If you want to,
Right.
you want to talk, do that. Don't get into all the logistics and this and that. Just, hey, you're going to play who you're going to play. And that's it all comes down to. This is not like Messi got put back in or Mbappe got put back in. This is the USA's top scorer right now, but he's not of that level. So if I'm Belgium, I shouldn't be. If I'm going to move on, him on the field should not make the difference.
And just as we started our podcast, word came down that FIFA basically told Belgium, your
Pack salt.
your request for an explanation is denied. We have ruled, and that's that. And let's play soccer at 8:00 Eastern time on Monday in Seattle. It's taking away from just an unbelievable tournament so far, guys.
Agreed.
And again, if you're a very casual fan like you are, Matt, and just kind of tuning in, the drama, the suspense, everything is not going to Hoyle. I mean, Cape Verde almost beat Argentina, for Christ's sake. A 67th ranked team nearly beat the best team in the world. They needed 2 goals in extra time to hold them off.
Yeah.
Their goalie played out of his mind. Unbelievable. On Sunday, Norway, a team that had never been to the quarterfinals, knocks out Brazil. Brazil is every year at least the quarterfinals, usually the semis or finals. And they are done thanks to Erling Haaland, who had 2 more goals and then banged the drum to row the boats. That's so much. That's the thing I've really gotten from this. The fans are so into it, and the players are in it with the fans. He's banging the drum, they're rowing the boat. I mean, that video is absolutely awesome. And everybody, before that's like, well, Haaland doesn't even celebrate after he scores a goal. You mean he acts like he's been there before? No,
right.
Okay. That's,
right.
I mean, what's wrong with that? But anyway, it's been an unbelievable tournament, and we still have half the quarterfinals to go, half the round of 16 to go, then the quarters, semis, and finals. So there's still a lot of drama left.
And I will tell you this: the going to 48 teams, right? Like they did, it was like, wow, okay, this is a big deal. This may be a game-changing moment for World Cup's already the biggest event in the world. We know that. We know how huge this is. But as far as for television and for the matchups that we're seeing some teams that would not have been in the Cup 4 years ago.
Right.
Okay, we're seeing some teams that are going and they're playing well, and there's been some really interesting games that have been decided. And like I said, you talked about Cape Verde and Argentina, but there's other matchups that are happening all over the place they're all, waiting to implode. You mentioned Norway. Norway goes out and just, I looked at it and I thought that Norway played a very, very good game. I thought Brazil was all over the place with what they were doing. A lot of individuality on that team, but that's always been Brazil's style in particular. But I think that the World Cup is going to really, really benefit from this expanded field of 48. And I will say this too: you might see the U.S. get maybe another shot at hosting a World Cup in a little quicker time, because now you have to have the venues that can handle all this stuff. You just can't say we're going to plop it in Australia or we're going to plop it in here. You got to, Europe has a lot of soccer stadiums, but to the magnitude of what we're seeing, in across the country here with the football stadiums, and then to bring in the stadiums in Canada. And was there a
Mexico.
better scene than in Mexico City last night?
Yep.
Could there have been a better setup? It was phenomenal. I mean, what is it? What does the stadium hold? 115, 20,000 that stadium holds?
Something like it's over 100. I know that.
Yeah. And the soccer crazy Mexican fans are there, and they're playing England, which is, that's just the country of England has the greatest league for soccer in the world. And it's
Yes.
in one little tiny spot when you think of the grand scheme of things, and they're matched up at Mexico, and it has drama all over the place. The ending of that game was just almost an own goal, great saves by goaltender, you name it. It was happening.
Another
in real
red
time.
card.
And you can sit and watch a 90-minute soccer match of pick any league you want to. That match had wall to wall excitement,
Mhm.
wall to wall action for 90 minutes. That's what you hope for. That you seeing the best of what the game can bring, and it's happening on our soil. It's happening in North America, and the show looks great. The
Mhm.
stadiums are looking fantastic. There's the crowds. I mean, I know most of the crowds are people who are rooting for those teams. They're not locals, but so what? The
Right.
venues are perfect for it. They can handle it. And when you see the beginning of the game, with yesterday with Norway and Brazil, oh my God, it was yellow everywhere, right? And then you see this big, like the Norwegians are right behind the goal, and they're right there, and then you're seeing all the different spots. It's phenomenal. It's been that's the entertainment part of it. To see how the fans are all reacting.
I think FIFA has done a fantastic job of branding and marketing this right here to get, I grew up at a time when it was football, basketball, and baseball. Soccer came a little bit later afterwards. So I've never been like, man, I got to watch this. But the World Cup is obviously different. So you tune in and watch. And I think that they've done a lot to bring in somebody who's on my level right here, bring them in and want it, not the players, like this goes right back to what we're going to be doing in football this year or in other sports. Like you've got to get the fans, involved and it grows like this. It's incredible watching these stadiums right now. This is amazing.
And you're right. They're doing they pushed all the right buttons this year. I would call myself like a skeptical or maybe a hesitant soccer watcher. This has got me thinking that I might turn on a Premier League game on a Saturday morning when it's the right matchup.
Yes.
Because because now you're going to say, okay, are they capable of doing this at that level as far as having that level of excitement? One thing about football in general in our country, the excitement of football goes to the high school level.
Yes.
I have friends of mine who will tell you that there's nothing better to watch than high school football. There's purity to it. Anything can happen. The most obscenely crazy plays happen on high school fields every Friday night somewhere in this country or Saturday morning, wherever they're playing, because you can't wait for it because it's still got that raw nature to it. It's still, everybody still has a chance to make a play. Everybody still, the people are invested in it in the stands, and it's great. And then you go to the next level, and in college football the venues are bigger than anything you ever imagined that you would see 90, 100,000 people at a college football game. To not only to have that be the feeder league for for the football, which owns the market by 20-fold, they own it. And each level leading up to that is that level of exciting, that level of participation for the fans and everything else. If soccer, can grasp some of that and have that feel to it, it's worldwide. Again, it's already the most popular sport in the world. We're talking like Americans right now about this.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
But we looking at it, I look at it and say, man, that level of excitement, that level of fan involvement, that level of commitment to the game, it can grow even more so than it ever has.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, the numbers that are being put up, the USA Bosnia Herzegovina match, 24.5 million. Think
That's
about
huge.
that.
Yeah,
That's NFL Thursday night. Actually, it's better than NFL Thursday night. It's
Monday night.
Yeah, it's Sunday night, Monday night numbers that they're putting up right now. And it's not just the US games. All the other games are drawn well over 10 million. So there is the market for it. Fox is getting their money's worth. That, and add those hydration breaks in where you get a free commercial break. But
For
listen,
sure.
it's not free. It's not free. But listen, in all kidding aside, it's been a tremendous tournament.
Yes.
We already have 2 of the quarterfinals set. France will play Morocco. That should be a dynamite match. France would be favored in that, but you sell Morocco short at your own peril, because they have consistently made it to the semifinals, and they would need to beat France to do that. And then, of course, the 2 winners from yesterday are going to meet on Saturday, and that would be England and Norway. And England, guys, I was thinking about this as you guys were talking. England hasn't won the World Cup since '66. So I would call them the Toronto Maple Leafs of the World Cup, since Toronto hasn't won since '67.
They are.
Yeah.
You're right.
Every year they have a fantastic squad, and every year they come up short. And now they're going to have to beat the Norwegians, who they interviewed Erling Haaland after the match. I always say his name wrong. Erling Haaland after the match. And he says, listen, we had no pressure on us. We're Norway. We're not supposed to be here. All the pressure was on Brazil. And he said, next match, all pressure is going to be on either England or Mexico. They interviewed him before the match was done. All the pressure is going to be on England. We're not supposed to be here. We're just having fun. I mean, that's a great attitude to have.
Good
and that
coaching.
makes them really dangerous, considering he's played 4 World Cup games in his career just this year. 7 goals. That's silly, guys.
Yeah.
Silly.
Right. And I will say this too about, again, hockey. You watch hockey in the playoffs, you watch hockey, and as sports fans, we were always screaming, shoot the puck, put it on net, right? Well, what I'm seeing with soccer more than I've seen in the past is they are shooting the ball and putting it on net a little bit more than I've seen in the past. It's a midfield game a lot of times when somebody gets a 1-0 lead, and it's a game of keep away. And now it seems like maybe there's been a bit of a game change or whatever it may be, but 1-0, you could turn it off back in the day. Now you're like, okay, what's going to happen next? And you don't have to having to score, but some of the saves that have been made in these games, goalies are becoming, they're just like a hockey goalie. You can't win without having a great goalie. Right. All the potential matchups, Rich, that the ones that already have, but the ones that are potentially there, like Spain, it should be the favorite against Portugal in this particular case.
Be
but
careful.
Rivalries are rivalries, right? You never know what's going to happen in that situation. And then U.S. and Belgium, the matchup there is going to be a story no matter how it breaks out.
Right.
And then looking at the next one you said about Argentina, clearly a favorite in this one as well. But if they're playing Switzerland or Colombia, think about that Colombia-Argentina matchup.
Yeah,
the fan base is going to be out of control. So even the next games, everything leading forward, there is no bad matchups coming forward that the teams have gone through, and that's to the semifinals and then the finals. And wherever they're coming from, it's going to be a one hell of an entertaining soccer game or soccer match.
Yeah, I think even if the U.S. were to go down, whether it be in this round or the next round, I think the numbers will still be monstrous in this country, just because everybody's gotten familiar with everybody, and
all the superstars are still in it. Harry Kane.
And they're producing.
Right.
All the superstars are producing. That's
Mbappe,
the other thing. Yep.
Messi.
Yep.
They're all there. They're all there.
Brazil and Germany are gone. And it's interesting. You could argue that those two teams don't have that quote unquote superstar and that's why they're gone.
Right. You're right. And
So-
and you're watching these guys who are goal scorers, Rich. The first goal that Messi scored was sick what he did.
Yep.
He stays onside. He takes 3 quick steps and he deadens the ball to pass to him with the outside of his left foot. Like
Yep.
he almost like he had Velcro on his shoe. And then he not only does he make it stop, then he has the wherewithal to kick it high over the goalie's head. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it's just like, and he did it all in a half a second. I'm like, he stopped, boom, boom, and it went in. And when he did it in live action, it looked like, oh, that was easy.
Right.
Like he didn't do anything. And then you watch it like, what did he do? That was crazy. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you can look forward to now. And again, it's good. Everybody that's left has a gigantic fan base. I mean, the U.S. in particular,
Right.
if they make it to the final, I can't imagine what that's going to look like. But if that was ever to happen, but all the rest of them, there's huge fan bases for these teams. And so this is going to be interesting to see how it turns out.
All right, so there it is, folks, the World Cup, and we look forward again to the action today and tomorrow. And then Wednesday, for the first time since the World Cup started, no games.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
What are we?
Thank goodness it's this week and not next week when it becomes the desolate times between, because, the baseball goes into the All-Star break and there's nothing going on. So we get the World Cup to save us during that for sure.
This definitely was a save. There's no doubt about it.
941 Sports Zone presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. Give them a shout at 941-251-4257, 941-251-4257 before the real bad of the weather comes. Listen, guys, I know all the forecasts, and John and I talk about this all the time. The forecasts all say, it's going to be a quiet year. You only need one. Get that stuff fixed, taken care of.
And I'm telling you, the thing that makes me that keeps me on my edge this year is a very hot Gulf of Mexico, 89 degrees currently, and a west wind, which is it's in the Atlantic Basin. The west wind is good because you are knocking the tops off these storms or potential storms.
Right.
You've got Saharan dust doing its number right now, which is going to keep our rain chances down this week. And so that being the case, but anything that builds in the Gulf, that's one of these lingering lows that gets stuck down by Yucatan. That's what Milton was.
Yes.
Milton was not a storm that came from off the Africa coast. It was spawned and born in the Gulf of Mexico, and then a front came through, a westerly front came through, and it rode that front right to Venice or Siesta Key, if you want to be more exact on the landfall. And so that's what kind of worries me a bit, is that we don't usually have west winds. If we do, it's just our normal little light wind in the morning that keeps us nice and cool off the Gulf. If 89 is cool, but now it's not doing that, and so we're not getting any rain, so it's just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So that is the concern. However, I will say this, that after being beaten up a bit the last couple of years, I work in mobile home parks. Everybody is aware of what can happen. Everybody knows what's going on. So there's always going to be somebody who's going to think that a hurricane is an opportunity to have a kegger at their house and and having a good old time. But most folks who are vulnerable and have and have been through this already really are not going to take it. And I think the biggest problem with the next hurricane, guys, when there is a next one, is going to be that there's going to be a mass exodus. I think I think we're going to see roads that are going to be clogged up with people who are saying, I'm not waiting around for the inevitable. I'm going now. I've been down this road. So I think that's going to be a new problem that we haven't seen, because I think a lot of people are going to say, I'm out. And then they're going to try to leave, and it's going to be tough to leave.
Yeah. Well, last year I got spoiled because we didn't have any storms last year, so I'm like, all right, this is the norm. But actually, when I don't know. You guys have been here a lot longer than me and know, but I'm pulling for 2 in a row. This is what it is. We're going to get 10 games in, no question.
Well, Matt, Rich will tell you because Rich is a news guy, and I know I've heard you do the weather as well, Rich, over the years,
Mhm.
right? You've
Yep,
done some
sure.
weather reports, absolutely, and we all got a little bit like, yeah, whatever, it's a category 1, we can handle that,
We have that big dome over us. It's not going to come
Yeah.
our way. Yeah.
Indian burial grounds, you
Yeah.
name it, everything you could imagine. Why we never had hurricanes to the magnitude of what we've had the last couple of years, and and the likelihood is that you're not going to be torn up over and over and over again. So we may go on another 114-year run where we don't get a hurricane of any magnitude make a landfall. However, I think that like they say, be prepared no matter what the situation is. And I always say the same thing. So what? You have a couple extra bottles of water in your refrigerator for a couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you, or, I got too many batteries. All right. Well, what do you know? You got too many batteries for a little while. So you just got to take it for what it is and understand that's just part of the preparation for it. To me, you know what I'm saying? For me to go outside every day and do what I do, I have to prep for it. I have to stretch. I don't like that. Do I want to do that every morning? No, but I've got it in order for me to be able to do other things I want to do in my life when I'm not 60, when I'm 75, I want to still play golf. I also put on sunscreen every day, and you name it. I wear sunglasses. I do all the preparation for my daily day out in the sun in Florida. So to get ready for a hurricane really shouldn't be that much of an issue. I get shutters suck. Putting plywood up is a pain in the what, but it's well worth what the flip side of it could be.
For sure.
All right, guys, let's talk Tampa Bay Rays. Let's talk your first place Tampa Bay Rays. Let's talk first place in the American League Tampa Bay Rays. Let's talk 4 All-Stars.
That's what I was going to say. Let's talk about those 4 All-Stars.
Yes, tied with the Yankees, who, of course, have one that's definitely not going to play, and that's Aaron Judge. And I'm beginning to think, John, you and I hit this a few weeks ago. I'm beginning to think that September might be optimistic if you're a Yankees fan on him returning. They haven't even thought about doing any testing, and he's at the 6-week mark now since his injury. And the Yankees certainly have struggled. They went through a 10-game stretch. I saw this on SportsCenter. They've lost 9 of 10. So let me give SportsCenter its due. In 10 games, the Yankees, the vaunted New York Yankees, have 49 hits in 10 games. Yeah. That's 4.9 hits a game.
You're not scoring runs.
And yet I still got guys like Jeff Passan of ESPN telling me that that's the best team in the American League. Hands down.
Hands down.
Really? Really?
No, I don't agree with that.
What are you watching? First of all, they play defense like they're allergic to it, okay? I mean, they are fundamentally as unsound as any good team I've ever seen. And I'm probably giving them a 3 out of 4 against the Rays this week by doing this, because the Yankees and Rays get set to start a series on Monday night at the Trop. Oh, by the way, the Rays have won 4 of the first 5 games so far this season against the Rays, including all 3 that were played at the Trop. But the Rays, as we mentioned, 4 All-Stars. Junior Caminero voted in. When's the last time a Ray was actually, quote unquote, voted in to be a starter? And it wasn't close, guys. He got 67% of the vote at third base. Well deserved, and he is on a heater right now that is, that is 11 homers in 12 games. That's pretty darn good. And he's going to be, for the second straight year, in the home run derby. And I was one of those that last year was like, no, don't do that. And then he finished second, and I'm like, oh, he's going to have a terrible second half. He didn't. He didn't let it affect him. So I'm telling him, go have some fun, win the $1 million, and have a good time. But the Rays get him, Yandy Diaz, the DH, who we don't know if he's going to start because DH is up to the manager. And then starting pitcher Drew Rasmussen and their closer with 23 saves, Brian Baker. Great showing by the Rays in the first half of the year. And they're 5 games up in the loss column on the Yankees. If they take 3 out of 4 in this series, folks, it starts to get to the point where if you're a Yankee fan, you start thinking wild card.
Yes. Well, I want to ask you this. You guys are real baseball guys. I want to ask you, does it feel like to you even I mean they have what is Tampa have 52 wins right now. I think it is 50, 51, 52, somewhere around there. The Dodgers I think have 58, 59, and then
Yeah, National League is better. There's no question
the
about
Brewers. Well, that's what I'm asking. If you're a fan of the Tampa Bay Rays right now, is that like looking down the line and seeing Aquinas standing there? Is it the same thing? Like, is it inevitable that the Dodgers are going to win it, or am I way off on this?
it. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think the Dodgers are cinched to come out of the National League. I think there's some really good teams in the National League. Right now, the way the Phillies are playing, if I'm the Braves, I'm quaking in my boots. They're only 3 back. And earlier this year, they fired their manager because they were like 12 games under 500. So they're playing real good ball. Braves have been playing good all year long. I know the teams in the division, they've kind of wrapped that up already. San Diego has just played brutal baseball the last month and is like 13 or 14 games behind the Dodgers. But the Dodgers are no cinch. I mean, if you really think about it, they shouldn't have won the World Series last year. They were behind in Game 7.
That's what I'm waiting to say.
Behind in Game 7 against Toronto. So,
Yes.
no, I think this year is it's as open as it's been in a long time. And I think both National and American League, I think, the Rays have the pitching. They've got the boppers at the top of the lineup, as long as they don't trade any of them with Diaz, Aranda, and Caminero. I think I'll put their top 3 against anybody's top 3, even the Dodgers.
Well, especially the last couple of weeks with, Caminero is just, he is more than on fire. He is just everything he swings at, he's barreling it up and he's hitting it deep. And so as the Rays are today, okay, no major injuries, knock wood, or anything like that. This team right here is built to win the American League pennant. They are a team that can definitely do it. Now, is there going to be ups and downs? Sure. The one thing I've talked about with you, Rich, all the time is it seems like no matter what, every year 2 guys are having Tommy John surgery or something's going on. It always starts to come to fruition late July, early August. And I also said to you, with the new ownership, I'm not sure we don't know their track record. Are they going to go out and secure somebody that could really help them go out and win a pennant? Are they going to go out and say, we're buyers, guys? We're not going to be like the old school guys, and we're gonna do it this way, and we're going to go out and get we're going to rent a guy for 3 months, and that's going to be the guy who's going to make the difference. So I think that's a factor of right. We have a little bit of the unknown. However, like I said, if you started telling me go down the list of teams like American League West, there's nothing going on there. Means right? Am I incorrect to say that?
Yeah,
that they're not. There's no problems there.
Right.
But I think the Rays in particular, I think the one thing that they as long as they can keep level-headed, play every game like it's important. Don't read your clippings too much. I think Kevin Cash is a guy who sort of levels his team off. I think the 2 guys you see on the All-Star team that are pitchers are all due to Kevin Cash's tutelage and coaching. So I think that you have a big positive and a big plus with Kevin Cash being the manager, and hopefully he can keep the ship on the right track, and we'll have some October baseball here in Tampa.
The thing that's interesting to me is Matt's team, or the team from Matt's part of the world,
this is my team.
has started to play well.
Yes, they have.
And everybody's talking about Tariq Skubal getting traded. If I'm the Tigers, I don't. You know what? What really and realistically, what are you going to get for him? I mean, I'm looking at, it seems like the market's shrinking all the time. At this point, if I'm the Tigers, ride them out. Ride them out. I mean, Tigers for the first time this year won back-to-back series on the road. They're starting to play better. Cleveland's got a problem. Their best player's hurt, and he's probably not back until August at the earliest. Jose Ramirez. The White Sox, they've played great. They've been an unbelievable story. Can you really take them seriously? I could see the Tigers going on a heater like they did 2 years ago getting in there, and then they're as dangerous as anybody because, again, they got Skubal. They got the kid they got from Houston, the lefty whose name escapes me right now. They've got the pitching to contend, at least starting pitching. The bullpen is another story. And I look for the Tigers to actually become buyers as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. What do you say, man?
Well, at some point the business aspects got to take over this because they dug themselves such a deep hole in the early part of the season, and it's like there was a lot of expectations coming into the season. So, what do you do with that contract at the end of the year? We've got to know by July 31st. Obviously, that's the trade deadline. So, like, we have to make a business decision, and I don't know. I don't know if the people. I don't even know if the front office really believes what Rich. I think there's people on the outside that might be saying that, but I don't know if the Tigers are saying that right now. I just don't. I could tell by some of the things that they're doing and the things that I'm hearing about the players and Scooble. When you start talking about making a trade like that, that's almost like we're going to hit the reset button, which is crazy.
Button,
yeah, it's just crazy to me. So
You're throwing up
I
the
don't
white
know.
flag.
Yeah. I really don't know about Detroit right now. I mean, if you would have had me maybe in a week and a half, I could have a little bit clearer story. But I don't. Right now it seems like it's 50-50. But if they trade Scuba, I think that is exactly what they're going to do. And you would think that a couple of years ago the Lions were in the NFC Championship game up 17 at the half.
Yes.
And when you fall like that, it's like, maybe we do need a reset, But the Tigers had one really good year, and now you said they are heating up right now. But man, Rich, that hill's a hard one to climb right there. How far are they behind Cleveland right now?
I'm looking. Well, it's actually Chicago's in first place.
The White Sox, yeah.
They had a big 4-game series. Cleveland walked off the first 2 games and took a 1-game lead. And then I think Chicago won the last 2 games, including 7-6 yesterday. So I think Chicago's back in first. And I'm going to look at that right now. If my phone will cooperate. White Sox are a game ahead of the Guardians, 2 in the loss column.
Yes.
The Twins are 4 back. The Tigers are 10 games under 500 and 7.5 back. I think the next 2 weeks are big. By the way, the trade deadline's a little later. August 3rd as opposed to July 31st. So there's a couple of extra days.
Yeah.
It's brand new. I didn't know that at the beginning of the year here. So you got 4 weeks basically from today.
Yes.
To figure out what you're going to do. And the next 2 weeks are going to mean everything. If you can run off a 12-3 stretch and you get to right around 500, you're right there because the White Sox are only 5 games over 500 leading the division. And again, the Guardians, with the smallest payroll in baseball, by the way, smaller than the Marlins, are hanging in there despite not having their best bat, Jose Ramirez, who's trying to come back from a wrist injury, and we all know that's tough.
And it's funny because the way the baseball is set up, arguably, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I think that the best division in football is the NFC North. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but there's a lot.
Everybody was over 500. How can I argue?
Yeah. So, conversely, baseball is not the same situation
Right.
as the Tigers,
Right.
So that, like you say, that the money people are going to have to make a real decision. I'm glad you brought that up because I did not know that they moved that back 3 days like that. So that would give you an extra 4 weeks from now. But that's a big one right there. Letting Scuba go. That's letting everybody know, ticket holders and everything. Like we got to start all over again.
Yeah. Philosophically, I'll ask you guys a question. If you had, let's make a comparison. You have, I'm trying to think of the right quarterback to say that. Well, let's say Josh Allen. You've got Josh Allen at quarterback, and let's say we can compare him to Scooble as far as of quality of a player. You wouldn't get rid of Josh Allen to go retool. You'd keep the quarterback you have there. So why would you want to get rid of a clear number 1 guy on your roster? He makes your rebuild that much quicker or that much easier because you're not trying to find that guy again. And
can I answer the question?
I want to hear this.
2 words: Scott Boras.
Right.
That's his agent.
Yes.
And he's not going to take a hometown discount. He's not going to take anything. So, he's telling his client, he's telling the Tigers, trade me or you'll end up with nothing but compensatory picks in 2 years.
Well,
Yes.
And I think
does he want to leave Detroit, or does he just want more money? Because if it's just more money, and that's the deal, maybe I have to consider that if I'm going to keep that guy around. I understand that.
if his agent is Scott Boras, he wants more money. I hate
Right.
to say it, and I
Yeah.
hate to put it that way, guys, but that's what Scott Boras does. That's why the
Right.
Rays don't even deal with him. They get a
Right.
guy that has Scott Boras, they trade him away right away. And I don't have a problem with that. The Rays are always competitive.
Right.
What will the Brewers pay for Scooble though?
Well, the Brewers are one of those teams that's right smack dab in the middle. If they do that salary cap that the owners are talking about and salary floor, the Brewers are that team that's right on that line. So, and they're competitive. I didn't even bring them up when we were talking about the Dodgers. They're like a game behind the Dodgers
Yes.
in the standings.
Yeah.
And
They can
again,
pitch.
there's
And they can pitch.
they can. That's the reason they're a game behind. They can flat out pitch.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the question. What do the Brewers? Do they mortgage the future? Do they? And really, when you mortgage the future in baseball, number one picks, that is as inexact a science as there is.
Like hockey.
Right, exactly. There's no guarantee. None. Zero, zilch. So what are you trading? I mean, that's my opinion. Again, if I'm the Tigers, I just hold on to them as long as I can. Now, if they go out and lose 12 or 15, and there is going to be no way that they're going to get it back into the race, then you try to see if you can get a really big haul. But again, if you're the Tigers, you keep the ball in your court.
Is that you think, Rich, that when you said the number earlier, if it's 500, if it's 8-7 over the next 15, you think that they just be like, all right, let's pull the trigger on this then?
Well, yeah, that still leaves them 9-10 games under 500, and they would have to go on. Remember, 2 years ago on August 10th, they were way back,
Yeah.
and they had to win like 33 of their last 44 games or something like that just to win the division. You can't have lightning strike like that twice. You can't expect it for sure.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And also now Scooble is damaged goods, guys. He was out for quite a while.
Yeah.
Earlier
That's
this
the other thing I
year.
was going to mention too. Yeah.
Yeah, go
If
ahead,
he's-
John.
If
Sorry.
he's damaged goods, like if there's something wrong with him and you got an agent problem, then maybe you do make the move because you're just saying to yourself, I'm gonna be paying for a guy who's gonna be on the IR for 18 months, or God knows what's wrong with them. I can definitely understand that being a decision and a part of the decision making. You don't want a guy to go out there and he's not at his best, especially a pitcher. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
For sure.
listen, and Detroit is a great baseball market.
It
Great.
is.
It's not good. It's great. But their fans are smart. And if you pull the string on Scooble, they will stay away in droves. You will have in
droves.
September, you'll have that beautiful stadium with
Empty.
nobody in it.
You know, everybody will be over at Ford Field right next door.
Correct.
You're waiting on
And
Sunday.
hockey will be
They're not-
starting. Yeah, no,
yeah.
they're done.
Not at all.
Done, complete, done. So
Yeah.
some decisions definitely to be made. But again, congratulations to all those all-stars for Tampa Bay. The Yankees got more bad news. Jazz Chisholm left Sunday's game with the Twins with what was described as toe discomfort. Toe discomfort. Is that turf toe, 4 to 6 weeks? Is that, I mean, seriously. And the other thing, if you're the Yankees, one thing you could count on: death, taxes, and beating the Twins, and they lost 2 out of 3 at home to the Twins.
At home.
At home. By the way, in a stadium, if you watch the highlights, that was maybe half full, maybe.
Right.
So I think the fans are starting to see the handwriting on the wall in New York. But this series is coming up tonight, starting Monday night in Tampa. I never say his name right. Cam Schlittler, their best pitcher, along with Garrett Cole. He has been cuffed around the last 3 starts. If the Yankees are going to have any chance in this series, they have to win tonight. Monday night. I keep saying tonight. Monday night as we record this. I don't think it's
Yes.
All right, a couple other things from baseball. The Marlins did something that I don't know, and they brainwashed their players so much that you listen to Yuri Perez after the game yesterday, and let me give you the backdrop. He's thrown 7 perfect innings, not no hit innings, perfect innings. 21 up, 21 down. He's thrown about, I think he thrown somewhere around 90 pitches, and they yank him. And they almost lose the game. They're up 8-0 when they yank him, and they have to score a run late to win 9-8. So your grand strategy nearly blew up in your face. They asked Perez after the game. He's like, "Yeah, I mean, I understand the goal down the road is for the Marlins to, make the playoffs and me be available for the yada yada yada." 7 perfect innings, guys. What analytics is just ruining this game. So say he goes out in the 8th inning and he throws 5 pitches and they get a single and then you take him out.
Right.
What's the harm in that?
Well, let me ask you a question, Rich, and think about this. So you said 90 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So
92, I want to say.
Kids are on pitch counts when they're younger.
Yep.
Pitch counts are as much a part of the game as anything else is. It's a strategy. It's how they're gonna do it. You get there's so many pitches and you're done, right?
Right.
Most of the time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In a situation like this where you're approaching a historic game, I don't know, based on how these players have been trained, that he could throw 105 pitches or 115 pitches.
That's
he might be like,
too.
I can't do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So before he goes out there and craps the bed, we're going to take him out and we'll go ahead and do whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if, back in the day, back in the day, the 80s and the 70s or whatever we want to go back to, nobody knew how many pitches somebody had. You didn't know, you weren't like, hey, how many pitches does Seaver have left there or whoever, no, they didn't know.
It's on the scoreboard now. It was never even talked about.
Right.
Yes.
We never talked about pitch counts. Think about a guy like Nolan Ryan throwing 200 pitches in a game or some crazy stuff like that. Right. Nowadays, I think everybody's got a little counter. They're click, click, click. Nope, he's done. And probably the guy was looking like, hey guys, I'm getting close to 100. You're gonna come and get me? And they're like, no, stay in the game. You might get a perfect game. Well, does it really matter? I don't want to get hurt. I think it's not just like they're yanking this guy and he's furious he got yanked. He don't care. He's like, well, whatever. I got my 100 in. Next guy up. I want to be, not to think that a perfect game. Look, talk about being a Tigers fan, right? Wasn't it Galarraga who got hosed by was the perfect game?
At first base?
Yes, that's
on the perfect game. Yes.
Yep.
And they write 30 for 30s on this kind of stuff, and the umpire, the umpire who made the bad call, still can't talk about it. He was in tears talking about it because he ruined it and how they brought him together. That's a mammoth situation, and you have a chance at a game like that, and they pull you, and I guess that's just the way.
No, they didn't pull him. He got the next out, so it was a one hitter, and it was Jim Joyce was the umpire.
Jim Joyce.
Yep.
I don't know if I'll ever forget that name.
Yep. And he, he went around, apologized. They had a big tour. He was appearing with him. Yeah. But
I said this at the time. When you're an umpire at a base, you ever play baseball, you're at a base. You know that the ball got there or the foot got there. It's that simple. It is literally that simple. That's your only job. You are watching this right here. If it's at the same time, he's safe. Either the ball got there first or the foot got there first. It was simple. It was simple.
Well, the thing about this, what it should have happened, which tells you that the stupidity of the league and the arrogance of the umpires, is that should have brought in video reviewing at that point. Right then, that would have been like, this is never going to happen. Right. This never happens again. We're not going to, and it's a bang, bang play. And if that umpire would have seen the mistake, he would have been happy for the video people to correct it on that particular situation. But it took 50 more years to get that put into place.
Right.
kicking and screaming about it.
Yeah.
And now, now I will say this, I am very like this with baseball, but I will say this about baseball. The changes they've made with the pitch clock, with the review, with the strike zone, all that stuff, I think it's made baseball better.
Yes.
For sure.
Because it's taken away the antics of these umpires and all the other bullshit that they do all the time. It's just, I think that it's made a difference, and things like that could have happened years ago, except that they wanted to stick their feet in the ground and act like babies about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well said. Well
Thank you.
said. One other note from baseball: Paul Skeens, guys, Pirates,
I know.
great pitcher. He hasn't won a game in 2 months. His team has lost 9 consecutive starts of his. And not everyone he's getting cuffed around either. And there's another guy who could be on the move because, you don't think he's going to sign another contract with the Pirates, is he?
100% he's not. He's not going to, his career is not going to be a guy with a sub-2 ERA career-wise and have a 333 winning percentage. That's not going to happen, right?
Right.
It makes no sense. But I can't feel sorry for Paul Skeens because his girlfriend is hot and he has nothing to complain about.
Right.
I knew that was coming. Olivia is not done.
LSU
Yes.
guy with his,
Yeah.
She's not
with his
done.
Burt, with his Burt
Yeah.
Reynolds mustache.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We've done enough with baseball. The 941 Sports Zone, presented as always by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. 941-251-4257. Locally owned, nationally backed. And they've got those roofs going up and down the Gulf Coast, not only in homes, but businesses as well. 941-251-4257. NBA free agency officially opened at noon on Monday. A couple of the trades that have been reported went through. Kawhi Leonard is now a Toronto Raptor, and they're actually working on a long-term deal. I think that's interesting. He couldn't get out fast enough even after he won a title last time. So, and he's eligible. You want to talk about basketball and their salaries. He's eligible for 2 years at $123 million.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Who's really more at fault? Is it the players that are at fault or the ownership who they avoided bankruptcy in the early 2000s when
Right.
Shaq's contract was more than the Lakers were worth or whatever it was going down at the time. And they're going to do it again. They're doing it to themselves again.
Well, John, they have a $76 billion cushion known as that TV contract.
Yes.
I get
so they have they have more money than they know what to do with. But it's just, I don't even know what to go. John Morant, by the way, is officially a Portland Trailblazer as of today. Congratulations, Ja. Good luck up there in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Anyway,
well, Rich,
go ahead,
I'll say one thing about the free agency thing, and I get what you're saying. They have a lot, but you know what? There is an end point to that contract or whatever it's going to be, right? And if it's like anybody, hey, you know what? I got enough money. I'm going to buy a house on Casey Key. It's worth $20 million. The taxes are outrageous, but you know what? I'm good. And then all of a sudden he says, you lost your job. Okay. What are you going to say? Like, well, okay, I still want to keep the house, but
Right.
What do I do here? I think eventually that's what's going to happen. The house they're not going to be able to afford the house anymore. And it's gonna be a problem for them, and they got to look at it prospectively, because I think part of the problem is that they hit a home run with the Knicks this year. Let's just face facts.
They got lucky, guys. They got
absolutely lucky as you could imagine, because if San Antonio was playing Cleveland, no offense, Cleveland,
none taken.
It would have been a dud.
Half the viewership, half,
right?
At least.
So, and I get it. And NBC came in with a lot of money, and they did a great. I praised how they handled themselves with the broadcast this year. It was phenomenal. I thought they did a great job, very entertaining. But you got to at some point in time look at things and think that you got to be a little bit more, like you said, I'm using the Kawhi situation. 2 years, $123 million. And what has he done in the last 5 years?
Mm.
I mean, he's been on what, 3 different teams. He's moving around, and it just I don't understand it. There's got to be some common sense, but if somebody's going to write the check, it's really not on the Kawhi's not going to care at some point in time.
Right.
It doesn't make a difference, Dan.
As long as
He's
the
going to
check
take the money,
cashes.
it's good to go.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do one thing that I have noticed is I'm gonna give you an example. I was in Vegas one night and I played a ticket. Janet, my wife, she was gambling and I said I'm gonna play this ticket, and I put like I don't know like $15 or $20 on it on a parlay, and I hit for I think it was like $150, whatever it was, right? So I get to the front of the line, the money cashier guy, and there's a guy next to me. And he's like, how much you hit for? And I was like, 150. He was like, hell yes. And when he said that, I'm like, well, that's weird. $150 got that kind of thing. And so I guess in his mind, he thought that I meant 150,000. I swear to God, I looked over and the lady's counting him out, just hundreds, just a stack of money right there. And that's what professional sports, like, you don't even have to watch the game. You watch the last 2 minutes of the game so that you can get your bet in. And meanwhile, the betting companies are pumping money into every single thing. And I just believe that we're in a time in sports right now where they can write their own checks for everything. Maybe it'll come to an end. I don't know. Maybe the bubble will burst and it'll be a problem like Spitz is talking about. But with the way that these betting companies and stuff are generating funds and they're putting it off in different companies and like you said, $76 billion is nothing to sneeze at right there. No. It's a lot of money that they've got going around.
Well, Matt, the thing is, this thing right here, this is in my hand, that's Las Vegas for a whole generation of kids. Okay. They don't want to go to Vegas to see Wayne Newton sing or watch a show or whatever else.
Right.
I had somebody ask me, like, I was in Vegas a couple of years ago. I had a young guy ask me, he's like, did you bet? I'm like, yeah. Well, what'd you bet? I said, oh, I played some roulette. I played a little blackjack. No. What'd you bet? Didn't you bet sports? You're a sports guy. Didn't you bet sports? I'm like, no, I can do that. Why would you go otherwise? They are sports betting obsessed.
Yes. They don't want to watch the game, John. They just want to watch the last 2 minutes or to see if their parlay comes in. Did Cade Cunningham have 7 assists? 3 in the third quarter? Because that hit, it's incredible to me.
And and that's what it is. There's so many more ridiculous prop bets, if you want to call them that, or side bets.
That's what they are.
In basketball than anything else.
Yes.
Anything else. Because it's like it's minute by minute by minute. They're just making bet after bet after bet. And I got friends of mine who never gambled. They're sports guys. They don't even know. If we're talking right now, then we would be talking Greek right now. They have no idea what we're talking about. Yeah. But their kid is sitting there watching a game with them, and the kid's not watching the game. He's like, boom, $1, $2, $3, just making bets on stuff. And that is the one thing, either good or bad, that the NBA can kind of hedge their bet on, because if there's something going in their direction and viewership is not about the game, it's about the bet. What do they care?
They don't care.
As long as the beer and the soda guy is happy with his commercial being on TV and get that viewership, they don't care why they're watching it. They don't care at all.
And that's why I think when you were talking about that, like the bubble may burst someday, but right now I just think that the bet Tampa or whatever what's the name of the casino up there?
Hard Rock. Yeah.
Hard Rock. You get on Hard Rock's betting app and like, okay. So I perfect example. I'm over at a friend's house and they got their 3 kids over there. And during the Super Bowl, and they'll be like, "Who do you think's going to win?" And I'm like, yeah, I'll tell them what I think technically is going to happen. And they're like, "You're nuts! There's going to be 3 turnovers in the game, and then there's 3 turnovers." I'm like, "How did you bet this stuff? Like, where did this stuff come from?" I have no idea how this stuff happened. I'm completely out of the loop, but they're making a lot of money on it, so it is what it is.
I'm too much of a fan of the sport to be
Yes.
wrapped up in how many, the over under on turnovers
Correct.
in the third quarter of the
Right.
game.
Yeah. Oh well, you know who my wife Janet is she's a fringe sports person. She likes to think that she's a heavy sports person. We'll get into a game, especially in the Lions game. It drives me nuts because she's like, we get into the second quarter and she's like, do you think Gibbs will have 31 rushing yards this game? And, and I'm like, I'll say yes. And then I'm like, I'm not watching the game anymore. I'm trying to see if Jahmyr Gibbs going to get 31 rushing yards. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, this woman's driving me nuts. Like, yeah.
Oh,
He
God.
didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you watch this podcast,
He will be watching. For
He's
sure.
he's just doing this for content. Okay.
Right. That's all.
Understand. I know you can't see my face. I'm deep in thought. I'm looking up to the heavens, but it's
Yeah.
he's just doing content
Well,
for us.
Go to a sports bar on Sunday afternoons in the NFL,
Yeah.
and
Ugh.
there's a lot of people making those same
Oh,
bets.
absolutely.
Well, all on their
Non-stop.
phone. Nobody's like, it's
No,
like,
exactly.
no.
Yeah.
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 By the way, I got to give you a platform since we did talk a little bit about your team. The Pistons made it to the second round, got to Game 7. I know they were defeated, but overall, I think you'd have to be very happy with the way things turned out. And if things progress, they could be where the Knicks are in a year or two.
I think the Detroit Pistons have a really good team. I do. I'm wondering what happened with Jalen Duren in the playoffs. Like, I watched him all year, and he kind of grew. Like I was a big Stewart guy, because he was physical. He's just Detroit. He just was a Detroit. And then Jalen
Right.
Duren got in there, and he's like, I love Detroit. And I'm like, all right, I love him. And he's athletic, but he's physical. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly what they needed. And I've been talking about him all year. And then all of a sudden he just disappears. And I'm like, what did happen to this guy? Cade Cunningham, God bless him. He did everything he could do. There's
Yes.
a lot of guys on that team. I think they have a really good nucleus on that team. I think they do. I don't really know. I've heard a couple rumblings on what they're going to do with Duren. I don't know. I don't see him moving away from him right now. But
I agree.
yeah, it depends on what he says. I've heard, a couple things where he said he's trying to get out of Detroit. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But if they can stick together and I think in a couple years, Detroit they'll be right there. I believe that.
And I think part of that, with just to kind of follow up what you said about Detroit, I think keeping that continuity with that team together is very important because the Knicks are going to, based on what's happening in the East right now, I think the Knicks are going to be the clear favorites in the East, with the momentum from after the championship. But I think Detroit is going to be second. I think Boston is going through a transformative part of their situation. Miami brought some people in, and they're going to be better, but I don't know how much better at this point. I think Detroit in New York, keeping that continuity together, not losing key players, is going to be vital to their success. And I think I said I thought Detroit was ahead of schedule from what I thought they were. And I think now the next 2 years in particular are going to be what they can do. I think they're going to be competing for the top seed again next year. And I think it'll be them and the Knicks battling it out.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the owner of that is a Michigan State Spartan. So I know he's going to make good decisions. I know he'll make good decisions with the boys down there. So
Smart guy.
I have all the faith in him. Yeah.
Now, we can do a whole podcast on what's going on at Michigan State, but we'll
No,
go ahead.
We'll skip that. Let's
Yeah,
skip that.
I had a
for
feeling
another
you wouldn't want to
podcast.
talk to. Yeah, you
Not
wouldn't
that
want to
one.
talk about.
No. You've noticed how I
Yes.
start out there and
Yeah.
I'm good. I know when to shut down.
Yeah. All right, guys, real quick. Wimbledon, it's a favorite tournament of mine. The men's side's been pretty formful, and the ladies' side's been anything but. I mean,
It's like the French Open all over again.
yeah. Sinner's still around, and he almost lost in the first round. Zverev is still there. Taylor Fritz, Joker, still playing real well on the men's side. If they can keep him around a couple more matches, that's certainly going to do ESPN well. But on the ladies' side, Sabalenka, gone. The defending champs, Vitek, gone.
You got Americans in there, Rich. Americans.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. As a matter of fact, the highest seeded person remaining is Jessica Pegula, who's the 4th seed. and she's going to take on Coco Gauff, who's the second highest seeded player remaining, the 7th seed in the quarterfinals. And the winner of that match should have a leg up as to possibly taking home the hardware. Although Jessica always finds a way to I root hard for her. She's she's been out on tour a while. She's north of 30 now. Her mom has really had some health issues. Her dad, of course, owns the
Buffalo Sabres.
Bills and the Sabres. So I have a soft spot for her, but Coco Gauff's playing tremendous. And I wouldn't be one bit surprised if she beat Pegula, if she went on to the title. Madison Keys was eliminated. So really, those two are carrying on the American flag basically on the ladies' side. So Osaka was the one that was able to get Sabalenka out of the tournament. But it's kind of interesting because this year I don't nearly have the interest in Wimbledon because the World Cup's here. I got to be truthfully honest with you.
Right.
Normally Wimbledon gets a lot of my attention, but every minute I'll turn on when we're done with this podcast. There's a pretty darn good game between Portugal and Spain going on. I'll be watching that. John, I see you looking up. That's where I'm looking right now. See, I'm frozen, fixated on the game. Actually,
that's the game the rivalry is huge rivalry. So you just can't. You got to watch that one. That's going to be really good.
Yeah. So. Anyway, let's NFL training camps. I did want to mention when we come on next week, John. That week, the Seahawks rookies will report, and football is going to be flying again. It's hard to believe that it's that time of year again. So
everybody will be in season, Rich. There is no off season. That's the bottom line because. While the game on the field is everything, it's phenomenal. It's the best off season for any sport out there. They have structured their off season and they've marketed and as an entertainment value. It's unbelievable. The combine is a show. Their draft is a show. Yes. Free agency is a show. The damn schedule is a show. Everything's a show.
The schedule release.
It's like that's a show. Everything's a show. Is. And so, and by the way, it's a damn good show. Yeah, whatever it is, it's good. They do a good job with it. And I don't know. Maybe there's 2 or 3 weeks in there where you can maybe fit something. They might plug something else in there. But at this point, they are doing just unbelievable with it. And you know what you see? Like I said, look at us with we'll go plug it again. Our Suncoast football media day preview, and so we have that. And we're doing high school in July. Okay. And so, and we just had spring in May. So what's their off? Where'd they fall off in June? They weren't relevant.
Not according to Coach Peacock last week.
He
said the attendance has been as good as ever for his, for the off season program there.
And January to maybe March in high school. Again, they're doing lifting weights. Other than that, it's the show. It's what everybody's coming.
But John, on that drive home from FIU, that's a lonely drive right there because you got a lot of time to think. 3 hours, and I'm like, man, it's over. It's all over. And now I'm excited every day. Every day I wake up, I'm like, it's football finally here. Everything is here finally.
The world is right.
And I'm telling you, with the 941 area, we've got this. This year. I said a lot about last year, but this year, man, I'm looking forward to seeing all these teams that I think are going to be really, really good this year.
I'm so excited about this season. Just the talent that is in this area alone, and you have somebody like that haven't had a lot of success recently, and that's Sarasota High, and they have Hudson West and Justin Larrick and Jaden Rivers. And they just got a new running back, and they have offensive linemen now. It's like this offense has the opportunity to be just lights out. Really, it does.
So, Matt, in this area right now, I know we're going a little tangent right here. How many quarterbacks do we have that are 4-star guys? 5?
Well, yeah,
5, maybe 6. Because I'm going to include West in that one because
Hudson West. Port Charlotte, Lafferty, Logan Flaherty.
You've
Yep.
got the kid, the new Venice quarterback.
Yes,
He's
Mason
off the IMG roster, right? He's there. You've got the Carter Mooney. What's his name? Davison.
Davin Davison. Yes.
Yep. He's already going to Florida, 4-star.
Manatee is a really good quarterback. Yes.
Manatee. That's what I was going to mention. That team right there. They kind of had a rough start last year, and then right to the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Look good.
And they're going to be Manatee is going to be really, really good this year. They just lost a running back to IMG, which is, I think, going to set them back a little bit. I don't know a lot, whatever. He wanted to go over and he had some opportunities there, but just the quarterbacks and the receivers. Elias Pro broke his leg in the spring game, but man, I'm telling you, him and Tyree and even Javion, the amount Larrick and Rivers, it's just like the kids over at Riverview are like this.
That there's probably 3 or 4 guys right now on Booker's team, on Palmetto's team, on South. See, all these teams are going to have guys that if they get the ball, can get the ball to them, and we talk about these quarterbacks that can do it. Man, they're going to be some numbers. I'm telling you, it's going to be exciting. The game, I'm the deep dive before the 24th for me is the schedules for all these teams and looking for these matchups, because every week there's going to be highlighted matchups the week that you have to watch. You have to see it's going to be amazing. The biggest thing that is going to bother me this year is that we want to have nice dry weather on Friday nights. We don't want rain delays.
Lightning. I could care less about the rain. No lightning, guys.
Agreed. I even though I'm out, so John is in. Let me tell you this, Rich. You know this, but I'm going to tell you this. John has got the greatest setup of anybody it's air conditioning, the windows tint. Oh, it's just magical.
I did games there before. There was nothing like that.
Oh,
nothing.
John,
that one wall unit struggled.
They got food. They got girls at halftime. It's crazy. No, I'm just kidding about that. But I mean, being out on the field, I'll even set and let the water rain down. Just don't stop the game for lightning. That's all I'm asking. Please don't do that. It is going to be this season is going to be magical.
And with the new press box, it's I definitely have some nice digs.
Venice outdid themselves with that one for sure. They really did. But I wanted to say this because Northport has a quarterback that a lot of people are sleeping on right now. He's a freshman and he's got kind of a funky delivery. But I'm telling you, the kid's got a cannon and he knows how to play. He's a true freshman. He's a 30 kid, and he's going to be and they have 2 other 2 defensive players. It's really Northport. People are like, man, you never know what's going to happen with this new district. You added Lakewood Ranch, you added Northport to Lehigh and Riverview and Sarasota and Venice. What's going to happen? Well, I don't know what kind of transfers these other teams have gotten. Lakewood Ranch, because I haven't had a chance to work with them yet, but I know what Northport's done. You know what to expect from Lehigh, but Sarasota is revamped. Riverview is revamped. At the end of the last season, you're like, man, they lost that whole offensive line and their quarterback. They're back. I'm telling you, they are back. It is going to be must-see football every Friday night.
Amston is 3rd year, right?
He is.
Okay. Christiani's in his 2nd year, right?
Yes.
This is what I'm saying about these programs. You're right, because this is where the team is starting to be built. Okay.
Yes.
We're talking quarterback, we're talking whatever else it is, but what they're building now is a culture, offensive, defensive lines, all those things that your scheme's now been in place for a couple of years. Everybody's familiar with it. You're not having to reteach everything over and over again. You got that kind of mode. It gets put a little bit on autopilot. Look, John Peacock, it's 20 years at the same situation. Okay. That culture is you walk on campus and your shirt turns green automatically. Yeah. You can have a brown shirt and it turns green because that's what happens. That culture is so thick there. It's so ingrained that you walk on there and you feel it. Okay. And now that's where it's getting with a lot of other teams. Coach Bradley at Southeast, I wait for Southeast to come out. I know that's going to be a good situation. Coach Saunders over in Palmetto, in his 2nd year again, or maybe 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken. But again, all these guys had success at Braden River, and now they're putting their program, all their stuff is in place. I just think it's going to explode. I think it's absolutely going to explode this year.
Somebody sent me a text the other day. Did Coach Drain leave Braden River?
He's not there. It's Coach Farmer, and I'm trying to reach out to him, so maybe he's watching this and he needs to give me a call, or somehow we'll get in touch with each other, because there was a situation where Coach Grain left in April.
Yes, yeah, I just found out about that. But nevertheless, they got that Louis, their quarterback at Braden River, excellent quarterback. Like, there's so much good play around here right now. It is going to be very difficult. You know, you're going to have nights where it's Lehigh and Northport, and like, well, that's not a good choice.
Yeah.
But you know, there's like, man, there's going to be Venice. There's going to be a lot more Venice, Sarasota, or Venice Riverview, you know, games where you can really get excited about these games and the fan bases, and it's just football's back.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
It's going to be so competitive right from the get-go. So looking forward to it.
Yes.
All right, guys, let's move on to the locks of the week. And both of us were victorious. I said the Rays would do no worse than 3-3 on their road trip. They had been struggling on the road. They put that away with the first 3 games of the trip. Actually won the first 4 games of the trip before losing the last 2 in Houston. And John had the U.S. over Bosnia-Herzegovina. So locks of the week, I'm 23-17, and I'm still can't even catch Masoni, who's 25-15. It's getting harder. The next couple of weeks, next month or so is going to be very difficult to find a lock till we start getting into the meat and potatoes of the football season. Did you come up with something, John?
Yeah, I did. I'm staying with soccer. You know, it's just too hot to not pick. I was gonna go and bet on the United States again, but I'm not gonna do it this time. I'm gonna go with Switzerland winning over Colombia.
Whoa!
I'm taking the Swiss.
Wow.
It seems like there's a trend this year leaning towards the European teams playing well.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the trend on this one and pick Switzerland over Colombia.
Wow, I gotta look at the line on this game. You're stepping out. Well, actually, it's not. Oh my goodness, it's very close. Colombia's a favorite, but only -160.
Yeah, it's not. It's very
They're
tight.
favored, but it's tight. Switzerland's +130. So, but that's an underdog. And John, I tip my cap. I'm going to go with a bigger underdog. I'm going to go, and I think I might have said something a little earlier. It's the first of the quarterfinals next Thursday. It's France. It's Morocco.
All right.
Taking Morocco.
You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. Can you guys see this right here? I have it pulled up right there.
Oh.
That was my pick. France.
Oh, was it? Well, you can. That's fine.
That's so crazy, Rich, that you said that, because I agree with that 100%.
All right. So 2 on the Moroccan side.
We're going with Morocco in that one.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very good. I thought about Norway too against England, because this is about the time that England flames out, a la the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I'll stick with Morocco. They're a pretty sizable underdog in that game. So good luck to the Moroccans. All right, that part of the show. What's bugging me? I got lots, but I got to try to narrow it down. John, maybe you'll help me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with something real simple. Not a lot to say. Just I think it kind of speaks for itself. Is LeBron back on the market? Okay, because it's so worn out. It's gonna drag out. It's gonna be about Bronny going with him. It's gonna be all the stuff that I don't want to hear about. But you know what? It's gonna be the #1 story on the ticker on ESPN every time he turns around. LeBron had lunch with Pat Riley. LeBron went to Cleveland.
Right.
Whatever. It's gonna be all the different stuff. And I think ultimately we all have a feeling where he's going to go. He's going to land in Golden State. They're going to put together the all-time all-star old-timers team. Okay. So they can go out and try to beat Wemby and teach him how to play or whatever they're going to do. And it's going to be somewhat compelling if they can stay healthy and put it together. But Is LeBron going to defer and get 15 assists tonight so that Steph can have the wide open three? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but LeBron on the open market again at what, 42 years old?
Yes.
42.
You know, hey, he's always been an anomaly athletically. You know, the Jordan versus LeBron argument, I always thought was relatively easy because Jordan is the better basketball player in some ways, you know, whatever. Because LeBron has always been a bully on the court. He's like Shaq, but he's not like Shaq. You know what I mean? Shaq was like, how can you guard Shaq? How can you guard LeBron? He's 6'9". He handles the ball. He can do everything, and he can run you over. So he's just been always that guy. But the idea that he's going back on the market, I got to hear about where LeBron's going to go is just not something. It's not bugging me. It's making me a little sick. So I think I'm not ready for it. But that's my problem. And I will say one thing real quick. It shouldn't be. It doesn't bug me. But Serena's flame out in Wimbledon was eh.
Well, what do you expect? She's 44 years old.
That's what I mean. What do they think of it?
44 years old.
What
she's got a family now.
Why wouldn't she just play doubles? I think that's what I don't understand, Rich. Why wouldn't she just play
playing
doubles?
But she's a competitor. These people, the reason that they are who they are, John, is they are driven. And she was driven. She really wanted to come back.
Drove off the cliff this time.
It didn't happen.
That's the reality of us getting old right there. Like, man, in her mind, she's like, I can still dominate. I was the best maybe ever. And like, nope, not anymore.
She served a couple 120, but that doesn't win the match. That wins a point.
Yeah. That's very, very, very true. Matt, you got one? You got something that's working?
I'm just gonna say this. I am very pessimistic about things, and I have an axe to grind or what's grinding my gears. But I'm gonna say this. Everybody watching right now, I am so excited about this football season. Next school year is going to be a fantastic school year in 941. I am so very excited about this year. There's some competitive balance at every single place. You know, you have teams. Venice is you got Mooney and Venice at the top over here, and then there's everybody at the next level. But there's no telling what's going to happen on every Friday night, and I cannot wait. I literally am so excited about high school football this year. I'm thankful. That's what I am. I'm not even mad, Rich. I'm not mad. I don't even have anything to be mad about. I'm excited and thankful for sure.
All right. Fair enough. That's good. Positivity on this program. That's
very rare.
We need a little more of it.
You go back and look at the other 3 times I was on. I had an axe to grind every single time, but this time, right now, I'm like, it is football season.
My axe to grind, my thing that's bugging me, and there were a couple of things I thought about the LeBron thing. By the way, does anybody really think he's going to end up in Philadelphia?
No.
Or I just saw Minnesota too. It's like,
that's not happening.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Nonetheless, my thing is, baseball's got to get rid of this antiquated way of voting in the All-Stars. And again, it's the fans' game. I get it. You want the fans to have some sort of say. Aaron Judge is not an All-Star, guys. He hasn't played for 6 weeks. And yet he's the starting left fielder. By the way, he doesn't even play left field. I guess they just pick a position. I don't know. But anyway,
I think there's outfielders is what they are.
Right. So, I guess. But I couldn't in good conscience, if I made it to a major league stadium, which I do have one right down the street in Boston, but I don't want to mortgage my future on it. But nonetheless, I can't vote for him because this year he's not an all-star. And I know I'm going to piss off all my Yankee fan friends, but he's not. You don't get all-stars on potential. You don't get all-stars on a career award. And he was actually struggling before he got hurt. He was hitting like in the 240s, struggling to get RBIs. As much as I lauded fans for finding Junior Caminero and voting him in, it really grinds my gears. I love that term, by the way. It grinds my gears that Aaron Judge got voted in again because he's not an all-star this year. And I think they just, I like the fact that they've kind of evened things out a little bit. It's like a third of the media and a third of the of the players and a third of the, but still, it's so, and that means if it's only a third, it's not just the fans that voted him in. It's obviously either the managers and coaches or the players. And
right?
again and again.
Then what they got to do,
Great
Rich,
player, but
is
it's
they,
not,
he shouldn't be eligible. That's what it's. If they take him off the ballot, because if he's not
Yeah.
going to, he hasn't played
Well,
so much or whatever it may be.
the ballots
again-
are pre-printed. You'd have to.
Is it more of a TV show than anything else?
It is a TV show, and I think that's why they do what they do. But whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
No, I
you know
understand.
what, though, Rich, though, the other side of that is why I agree with you is there's guys like, and I don't know if this impacts that, but like Wilson Contreras or
Yep.
Zach Wheeler they get snubbed from the playoffs, and you're like, well, what if Judge is not even who's not even playing? Maybe he's not, and then the lower level players sometimes get caught up in this whole thing, and that might be, I guess, where my issue with that is a little bit, for sure.
Yeah.
My favorite part of sorry, Rich. My favorite
Good.
part of All-Star games when I was a kid was when after 2 or 3 innings, the other guys were coming on the field. It wasn't,
Right.
again, I go back to being in the 70s, and it was, but 2 Reds players, 4 Dodger players, a couple of, guys here. Mike Schmidt played third or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And then waiting for Lee Mazzilli to come out and be an all-star
Right.
for the Mets, or waiting for the guy who was, hey, he's the backup to this guy, but he's hitting 395 with 15 homers, and the guy who really deserved to be starting came in the game.
Yes.
That's what I enjoyed about All-Star game, was to see the guys who earned it as opposed to guys who sort of got the like with Aaron Judge. He got in because he's just that guy. He's just the most popular guy in the league. He's done it before. But that year, that moment, that half year, whatever it was fun watching those guys come on the field and make their presence known.
The other thing with the All-Stars, I'm done with every team has to have one.
Yeah,
Let's get, if it's going to be an All-Star game, or is it going to be a game where one guy from each team is in, and then guys like, I'll throw one out there, and I'm farthest thing from a Red Sox fan, but how is Sonny Gray not an All-Star this year?
Right.
How is he not an All-Star? And he will end up being, because Ranger Suarez got hurt yesterday, and if the American League is smart, they'll put Sonny Gray, his teammate, in his place. But again, I've had enough of that. And all right, guys. Again, Matt Geller, Florida Sports Scene. Again, tell everybody where they can get your publication online.
They can go to the Florida Sports Scene on our Instagram. On our socials is the same, or you can
Don't
go
forget
to
the word the
Florida Sports Scene. It's underscore under each of them, but and that's our socials. And then you can go to floridasportscene.com. Our publication is on there. You can go out, but you can come out and see. And then I want to reiterate, I'm going to be there on the 24th with you guys at Carol Buick for the 941 Media Day. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great year, and I'm excited about it. Thank you guys again for having me on here.
Thank you for coming on. And again, it's the Suncoast High School Football Kickoff Media Day, brought to you by the 941 Sports Zone and Carroll GMC.
Rich, I got something to tell you. Based on your video performance today, you have a career path that you could be one of those English guards who don't move all day with the red fluffy hat. You got a career path for that. You haven't moved in an hour and 45 minutes. Unbelievable.
Frozen in time, baby. Frozen in time, baby.
That's discipline.
Deep in thought. I've gotten a couple of texts from friends during the show. That's what I told them. I'm deep in thought, man. It's, it is what it is. So we're looking forward again to the 24th. And again, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube live. And we look forward to, I look forward to coming down, being part of the panel. It's going to be a lot of fun. And John, what's our latest number? How many confirmations do we have?
16. Oh, well, 17, 16 or 17.
We had 16 last year, so we're already ahead.
Coach Campbell said he's in, but he didn't pick a time yet. So I got to get him to pick a time. So he'll get me over the next one. Coach Green at Manatee, who's never been a participant, he said the best reason why: I don't want to drive to Venice. And I can't argue with the guy, right?
Yeah.
But he said, "Oh, I'll see what I can do." So he's going to get another reminder here shortly. So
Okay.
that's there. And Coach Sanders at Bayshore, I'm waiting to hear back from him.
Hey, did
as
you
well.
tell Coach Green you're a Gator? You're a Gator fan, season ticket holder?
I don't, if I have to pull that card out, I will. I have
Yes.
never done that because
Come on.
he was actually a part of one of the most exciting sequences of plays ever at UF Field when after they won in 96, the national championship, they were playing against the number 1 ranked team in the country, the Florida State Seminoles in 97. And they were alternating quarterbacks between Noah Brindise and Doug Johnson. That's how they had that's where it fell to. And they a little kind of a audible at the line of scrimmage, and Jaquez ran a post and they hit him in stride and they were down by 5. It was that place was so lit up because we didn't think we had a chance, and Florida State had one of their better teams they have ever had. And he made that catch, and then Fred Taylor ran it in from 21 yards after that, and it was a big, huge upset. He was part of that, but he's part of a lot of other plays. If you watched him play, he was one of the smoothest runners and pass receivers I'd ever seen. He's just not the biggest guy in the world. So I think it's what his pro career wasn't as long as it could have been, but he was just what an athlete that guy was. He just glided on the field, and it caught everything.
And you know what, John? He's a better coach than he was a player, and he's a better person than he is a coach. That's what the whole package with Jaquez Green is like. It's magical being around him to watch the players, the way the players literally maybe they're not the best at their position in the area, but they will run through a wall for that guy, and he doesn't have a slick speech or anything. He's just one of the realest guys I've ever met in my life. I love that guy for real.
And think about the guys that he played for coach wise. He had Steve Spurrier, the innovator, and I believe that Tony Dungy was his coach at the Buccaneers. Am I not?
Yes.
So you're looking at that, and he had that kind of pedigree that he came through. And you're right. I've heard a lot of the same things about him from other people that I know very well who say like, no, he's a guy you want to hang out with. He's a good guy.
He's fantastic, and he knows. He really knows football, like just like Amp and Coach Christiani and Coach Peacock. Like they all know football. Just talking with Coach Green, it's one of the. I always look forward to going there and talking.
And he's a St. Pete guy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So he's kind of local from his origins as well. So he's a West Coast of Florida guy. So that's pretty cool. So no, I'd love to have him. I think it would be it'd be a really, really fascinating interview. I think he'd be great with it. So I'm gonna press hard
for sure.
Pull the Gator card out.
You gotta pull it out, John.
I'll see what. Maybe I have to get Trey Burton involved. That's the real ace in the whole.
There you go.
That's when you pull
there
it out.
You go. By the way, you just gave me a homework assignment. I was trying to keep it quiet so I could clip this, and then I could send it to you, John, and you could send it to him.
Okay.
Total full court press.
Yeah,
total full.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Well, Matt, again, thank you for joining us. Matt Keller, the FloridaSportsScene.com on all the socials. John Massoni, when are you ever going to get on a social?
Oh, I got
Facebook.
So I got this. I got a microphone now, right, Rich? See,
yes, and by the way, you sound great.
Amazing.
So here's the thing. So there's going to be like when the butterfly comes out of the cocoon.
Yes.
This is what's going to happen with me. And I'm working on a few things that I won't necessarily be the person pushing my social media buttons. Maybe somebody else is doing it for me.
So you're going the Peacock way. You're going the Peacock way then.
Well, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to, it's just where I'll have decisions that I'll say, hey, maybe let's look for this, but it's going to happen soon enough. Trust me, it's going to happen. This was a year-long sort of thing for me. To get myself amped up and get everything sort of working right. Loving where the format of the show is going. The conversation is good. The guests that we've had and by the way, Matt, you understand we get you back because you bring a lot to the table.
Yes.
And
I appreciate that.
In a new scenario, like again, relatively new, we're 1 year with Rich and I partnering doing this. We've done stuff before. And Coach Peacock's been involved in other things, but I feel now that there's a full year of content There's a full year of credibility that goes along with it, and your publication and us growing in the same manner. I think that's what I like about it. And I think eventually this trio of people right here is going to look real slick in the near future. So I think that I'm seeing that.
I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, I want you to remember this, Rich. You got to get down to Venice Stadium for a football game. John, he works hard. He is excellent in his job. But I'm gonna tell you, it would be very hard to do what it would be difficult to mess up when you're up there in that ivory tower like that, Rich. It's magical. He's the king on the throne up there, and I'm just thankful that I get to be a part of it with him for sure.
I get to wave to my dozens of fans out in the stands.
Tens of fans. That's mine. Yeah, tens of fans.
No, that's not true. That's not true. They all come out on Friday night to hear what John's got to say for sure.
Well, guys, appreciate it. We'll do this again next week. The World Cup will be actually, I think the quarterfinals will be done because
be done tomorrow.
I believe Thursday. No. The round of 16 is done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals, I believe there's one Thursday, one Friday, and 2 Saturday. So I believe we'll be to the semifinals of the World Cup come next week at this time. So
that'll be a lock of the week.
And there'll be a lot to talk about because we'll also be at the All-Star break, and there won't be much else to talk about in the sports world. But we'll make it happen. We nearly got 2 hours out of this today. Again, big thanks to Matt Geller from the Florida sports scene for joining us. For John, still liking the World Cup Missoni. Let's see if he still likes it after next week. I'm Spitz. And until next time, so long, everybody.
Thanks, guys.